Am I wrong for giving my daughter's vegan friend meaty... Sorry. Do it again. Wait. Okay, Bismillah. Am I wrong for giving my daughter's vegan friend meaty meals during sleepovers? My daughter and her friend M are both 12 years old and like to have sleepovers every now and then. M's family maintains a strict vegan diet where she isn't even allowed to drink milk. That's what fucking veganism is, yeah, okay. Her parents are nice people, although a bit on the neurotic side. So whenever she's over, I always make a big meaty meal for them. Last weekend, I made some cheeseburgers and steak for them on the grill with a big glass of milk. M absolutely loves it and always politely asks for more, which I happily provide. M is a bright young girl and she's a good friend to my daughter, but I notice how much smaller and paler she is compared to my daughter. I think it's likely tied to her family's diet. Not for you to decide. For snacks, I give them some of my Venetian turkey. For breakfast, I typically make a big plate of scrambled eggs and bacon, again with a big glass of milk. Despite her size, M always wolfs down whatever I make, and I have to say, every time she leaves, it looks like she has a healthy glow to her. What? I know I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I think M is a bit malnourished. Nothing against vegans or anything. She knows she'll get in big trouble if she tells her folks. I think she fibs a bit to her parents about what she eats here. So it got me thinking, am I wrong for letting my daughter's vegan friend eat meat at my house? Fam, like, some of these things, like, you can't. I'll give you this. You had good intentions. That's it. Am I wrong for telling my sister that she should have aborted my niece when she had the chance? I grew up in a single-parent household with my mother and my half-sister Casey, who is 7 years younger than me. My mother struggled with drug abuse for the majority of her life, and as a result, I have no clue who my father is. Casey's father was also heavily into drugs and only stuck around for 3 years. I basically raised Casey because when my mom wasn't at work, she was either gone for days on end, holed up in her bedroom/bathroom doing drugs with whoever her boyfriend was at the time. I am now 31 and have no desire to have children after spending much of my youth caring for Casey. Casey unfortunately followed in my mother's footsteps in that she began excessively drinking, smoking, partying, etc. She enrolled in a university that's known for being a party school, but dropped out during her first year after getting pregnant with my niece. 14 weeks into Casey's pregnancy, we learned that the baby would likely be born with intellectual and physical disabilities. I am pro-choice and discussed abortion as an option with Casey, who at the time refused and assured me that she would love her baby no matter what disability she was born with. My niece is now 4 years old and is nonverbal with pretty severe cognitive delays and motor/sensory issues. My mother has been sober for about 5 years and has since come around to help out Casey with my niece. She feels bad about our poor upbringing and as a result enables Casey to continue partying and being an irresponsible parent. Casey is hardly ever around while my mother is left alone with my niece. She's pretty much become my niece's 24/7 caretaker. Both my mom and sister have asked that I help babysit from time to time, but I politely declined because I know nothing about caring for special needs children. Recently I learned that my mother is planning to move a few states away as her boyfriend would like to be closer to his family, meaning she will no longer be able to help take care of my niece. Now Casey has asked that I become my niece's godmother. Am I wrong for breaking my promise to my husband and letting others meet our newborn before him? This is already giving me red flag vibes. This is giving me manipulator vibes, but let's keep going. I, 25 female, moved away from my hometown to my husband's hometown, male 32, after we got married. The main reason is because he suffers from a medical chronic condition and needs to be near his family. Red flag number 2. I was pregnant with our first baby and was nearing my due date when my husband had to travel out of town for 2 weeks. Because of this, he couldn't be with me in the delivery room, which wasn't expected. I wanted to ask my mom to come with me, but he assured me that his family is there to help and I shouldn't be worried. Red flag number 3. He then made me promise that I don't let anyone see our son for the first time in person before him, besides his stepmom who was supposed to be there for me, and I agreed. Oh my god, what red flag are we on? I lost count. His stepmom was with me when I went into labor, but she stayed away since she is the type that doesn't get too involved and keeps her distance. She's also the I don't do diapers type, meaning she doesn't offer help with the baby and I shouldn't be expecting it. She dropped me and my son off at home and asked that I only call if there's an emergency. I felt helpless. I asked my neighbor for a few favors but needed real help with the baby, so I called my mom and asked if she could come help me with the baby. She drove 4 hours to come stay with me. She helped out tremendously and I'm so grateful for that. My husband stayed away for a few more days, then came home. Once he saw my mom, he got so upset, repeatedly saying I broke the promise that I made to him by not letting others meet our son before him. I tried to explain that I needed the help and he brought up his stepmom, but I replied that she dropped me off and left. That's it. He said it wasn't about mom since it could have been anybody else, but it was about me disrespecting his wishes and breaking the promise I made. Oh, what the? Let me zoom in for this shit. He reminded me that he's also the parent and he gets a say too. At this point I said he was overreacting, but he replied that I forever tainted the memory of his son's birth and broke his trust and proved to him that my word is worth shit now. What red flag were we on? Someone remind me? Mom tried to give us space, but I said she did nothing wrong. She came to help after his stepmom left, so I can't be blamed for asking for help. He told me to stop giving him excuses and admit I wronged him with what I did, and then started avoiding me and just kept focusing his attention on our son. He keeps acting cold towards me, calling me a selfish promise breaker and expecting me to make it up to him. He wanted an apology, but I haven't given him that yet. So, am I wrong here? Holy shit. The only answer to this is divorce. Nothing else. Run away. This is not the man for you. No one deserves to be talked to like that. Especially after you pushed out his baby and he wasn't even motherfucking there. Am I wrong for refusing to walk my daughter down the aisle? My daughter, 26 female, and I haven't spoken in years. When she was 15, we found out that she wasn't my biological daughter and my wife had cheated on me years ago with a friend. As it turns out, the so-called friend was suddenly interested in playing dad. My wife and I divorced, my daughter learned the truth, and I told her I still loved her no matter what. Of course, she was interested now in getting to know her biological father, and while it hurt, I tried to accept that. She started pulling away from me after that. Even when trying to still do things together as a family, she was no longer interested. The last straw was when she was 20 and living at my house. We were arguing because she had dropped from her college courses, hasn't done anything for 3 months, and was mad because I told her she either needed to go to school or work if she wants to stay here for free. She told me I can't even read it, so mean. She told me I'm not her real dad, so stop pretending like I am, and she'll just go to stay with her real father. Ugh. That broke me, honestly. But I told her if that's how she really feels, then there's really nothing left to say between us. And she did move out to go live with him. I was depressed for a very long time and I drank a lot. My son, 24 male, was my only reason to keep moving forward. For the first couple of years, I reached out to my daughter. She wanted no contact and I learned to accept that and moved on. It helped me find more peace in my life. My son stopped talking to her for a while over this and was angry with her. They still chat sometimes, which doesn't bother me at all. Through him, I learned her biological father died in October 2019. She reached out to me first, saying she knows that we haven't talked in a while, but wants to ask me if I'd be willing to walk her down the aisle. After a pretty long message about how much she hurt me in the past with her actions, I told her no. She didn't want me to be her father anymore, so I learned to no longer view her as my daughter. This turned into a fight between us because according to her, it's not her fault she wanted to know her real dad. And I agreed with her it's not, but what was her fault was how she treated me ever since. In my mind, I know if he hadn't passed, we wouldn't even be speaking right now. It ended with telling her I hope she enjoys her wedding, but I want no part of her life. My son told me she's ranting to my family that I'm ruining her day and she thought parents are supposed to love their kids unconditionally. Oh, what a gaslighting bitch. Fuck her. Oh, I can't be swearing so much. Sorry. My brother seems to think that now I am being an asshole and that this is my chance to be in her life again, but I have no interest in that. Still seems that everyone has a strong opinion on it and that I'm making it difficult for my daughter to have the wedding she wants when it would mean a lot to her. My son is on my side, but the comments are still wearing me down, and just for the sake of my sanity, am I being an asshole?